Hello everyone, this is Adam Ferns here, bringing you with a new video. And this is something that was part of the very first series I've ever made on this channel. Well, my previous channel anyway. And I kind of ditched it since I joined this channel. But don't worry, it's back. Yes, you know it. Barely any of you watch it anyway. It's Beast Quest Beasts of You. And this is series 19 I'm with. The Kingdom of Dragons. Come on, Stritor. Stritor, come on, Stritor. God, I did not plan this out, but here. Those are the 4 books that we're reviewing. Quag got a big gap away from Korvax, but whatever. And this series, I'm just going to straight up say, is a great series. And I watched Lucas's book review on them. Yes, last night actually. And I agree with him with how the books are. Like, the first 2 are the worst out of them, but I can't decide. I could barely decide which one's worst out of them. I had to rely to the scores I gave them. Same with Vectrix and Stritor. They're both just as good as each other. I had to rely on the scores to give them a ranking. Anyway, let's get into this. We're going to start things off with the first beast of this series being Quag, or Quag. I say Quag. Quag, the Stone Dragon. Design is a 6 out of 10 because it is. It just looks a bit like a cross between Wardock, Furno, Vedra, and Crimon. It's just like a cross between Wardock and Furno, and along with a few other dragons. Rather than that, it does look nice, so that's why it's got above half. And the horns along with the spikes it has over its back and its head, I think it's a nice touch to an already great beast. Abilities is a 7 out of 10. It can fly and shoot purple fire from its eyes that when it hits somebody would turn them to stone. And it's the top half of it, its armor, let's say, like is made of stone, so pretty resistant to most things. However, its underbelly is not. And the fight is an 8 out of 10 for the simple reason it was a great fight to start off the series. It was an aerial battle, then it came down to a ground battle where Tom jumped from Furno to the ground to save Alina, and then it went to a down ground battle where Tom used his shield to reflect the purple fire that would have turned him to stone and hit Quag, turning him to stone. I thought that was actually pretty good. Anyway, the total for Quag is 21 out of 30. It's a good start, nothing bad. The design is just a little underwhelming, which I have to say it is. Okay, now we move on to the next beast, and this one is if we count just the main series for my reviews, this is the 100th book I've done a review on. But if we count the specials, Mortax was 100. But with the main series, we're at Korvax the Sea Dragon, number 100. One question though, it's a sea dragon, like with the title, but it's made of ice and barely has anything to do with the sea. Okay, its design is 7 out of 10 because it looks a bit more creative than Quag, even though it does look a bit more like other dragons. But I think the fact I do the design based on the cover art. It looks like the wings are made of water, but it's actually made of ice. But that's alright, that's still good. And I like its teeth being very thin and sharp compared to others just being wide and sharp. The abilities are 8 out of 10. Basically, if it loses a wing or tail, or basically anything, it can dive back into ice cold water and it will just regrow it. Or just regrow it over time. Obviously it can fly. This is actually one of the abilities for all of them. And it can spit out frozen ice from its mouth. That's it. And I believe its fangs can cause instant freeze to its opponents. But apart from that, that's just it. Its fight was an 8 out of 10, which was basically what Tom learned when working in the blacksmith when he was before he started out on his quest. He knew that Korvax wouldn't come anywhere near heat, so what Tom did, he heated up his sword above the last remaining torch, extinguished the torch, wait for Korvax to come, and just swiped at Korvax, melting most of her. And then the entire Draconian village people, I don't know, and just relit a bunch of torches and just forced Korvax to melt, basically. And that was the end of Korvax. I wouldn't say it's the end, though, because since Quag and Stritor survived, I like to think Korvax and Vectrix survived their fight with Tom as well. Anyway, Korvax's total is 23 out of 30. It's a great beast all around. A bit confusing that it's called the Sea Dragon when it's made of ice, but they can't give it the Ice Dragon since Blaze already takes that. And but Korvax is more deserving Ice Dragon. If I was to think of a new title for Korvax, I would say the Sub-Zero Dragon. I don't know. The Negative Dragon. Something to do with colds, but Sub-Zero I would say is pretty good. The Sub-Zero Dragon, maybe. Anyway, moving on to the third beast of the series, the one which I personally liked the design of most, is Vectrix the Poison Dragon. I gave this design an 8 out of 10. I like I like the fact it has big fins or whatever they are, and it can and it looks like there's acid coming out of it, which is actually part of its abilities. I like the horns, and it does look it looks more like a generic dragon than Quag. I would say that, but I think what this has is the uniqueness with the colour and basically everything else of it with its abilities and all that. That's what makes it a great beast. I don't know why I thought his design was the best, but since I already said that, and I'm not a really big fan of the designs from the others, well, I'm not the biggest anyway, Vectrix has the best design. I think it has to be the horns and the fins, gills. No, they're not gills, he can't breathe underwater. Whatever these things are. The abilities for Vectrix is also an 8 out of 10. It can fly, yeah, we've seen that before. Its bite can actually can infect people with poison that doesn't kill, but turns people or animals into lizard-like beasts. No, lizard-like draconians, basically. And its fans, whatever they are, when it spurts acid out, so it melts trees, it can melt rocks, I'll say. If I was to say one thing, though, looking at all the other beasts, I think this one, if they got into a battle with the beast, this one would be the longest lasting one. That's if this one went against the other dragons, but I think this one would be the longest lasting battle with the beast. But anyway, that is it for Vectrix. Oh, no, it's not. I forgot to do the fight. The fight is an 8 out of 10. Since half of Tom was out of commission, Lena was basically doing most of the work, and then Tom had a breath holding competition underwater to see which one would drown first, Vectrix or Tom, because Vectrix can't get out of the water because his wings are just stuck to his body when it gets wet. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and Tom obviously won. Moving on, no, god damn it. You can tell I haven't done this for a while. The total for Vectrix is 24 out of 30. It's the best so far, with a fight that made half of Tom unable to fight because he bit into Tom's arm with his bite, and he started turning into a draconian, and that made his arm weaker and unable to use it as good as he normally uses it. Anyway, moving on to the final beast of this series, we have Stritor the Skeleton Dragon. The design for Stritor is an 8 out of 10 because, honestly, when will you ever see a beast made of bone? Like 100% made of bones. So no skin, no flesh, just bones. So it's like, I like that a lot. Its abilities are a 9 out of 10. It can fly, okay. Spit fire from itself, okay. Yeah, seen them before. If he gets dissembled, he can reassemble himself back together. Unique ability, very unique ability, and if he thinks the time is right, he can call on the power of skeletons to come back to life into the original animal or human they were, and basically he has an army. He can summon an army. So yeah, two of those abilities are ones we have not actually seen before, and that's why I gave Stritor's abilities a 9. And for the fight, it was a 9. The first fight, the first part of the fight was a bit anticlimactic and very disappointing. Lucas said that in his review as well. He was like, if that was the only fight, I'll be so annoyed. Because it lasted, I would say it lasted around the same length as Nanook's fight, which was 1 chapter. But then as the book went on, it went on to Jezrin losing his powers and then getting burnt to a crisp. He's probably going to live though, because, well, Kenza survives. Malvel is going to survive, most likely anyway. It's kind of a good hint to what the name of the next series is anyway. And it keeps going on to where Tom went inside Stritor, which isn't very hard, and just used his shield with Furno's token to just make Stritor explode, basically. Which was a way to defeat the beast, but the beast didn't die. So this thing can't die. So that's another thing that we haven't seen before for abilities. But I have thought of a way in which Stritor can die in Battle of the Beast, so don't worry. He may not win. But the fight was a 9 just because it was unexpected for the last half of the book, and it was a good last half of the book. The total for Stritor was 26 out of 30. It's an excellent finale, nearly a perfect beast, with amazing fights and abilities. The only thing pulling it back was its design, but there's nothing really bad about its design that it can improve on. I just like my beast with design-wise with, with flesh, maybe? The total for designs is 29 out of 40. I love all these designs, but they are kind of repetitive. But the better designs come out towards the end of the series. The abilities I gave 32 out of 40. Great abilities all around, some repeated, but each have a unique ability boosting it up, which we have not seen before. Quark's laser eyes, Korvax being able to regrow her limbs. Vectrix with the fan acid thing, which we have saw on other beasts, but not on a dragon. And also Spike can turn people into Draconians, which won't really help much with Battle of the Beasts. But it can make them weaker, so it might help. I'm not sure. This is the first time I talk about Battle of the Beasts in a review. And Stritor's was rebuilding himself and also summoning an entire army. The fights, I gave a total of 33 out of 42. It's amazing fights per beast. It got better as the series went on, and it became more life-threatening. A prime example was that because Stritor is the only one of those two beasts with a 9 out of 10, whereas the others got 8 for fights. And Stritor is also the beast that killed Furno. Not Furno, Jezrin. It's always the dragons though, because Furno killed Malvel, Vedra or Crimon, or maybe Furno killed Kenza. I can't remember, it was ages ago. And now Stritor killed Jezrin. So who's going to kill Sampaio? Anyway, moving on. The grand total for Series 19 is 94 out of 120. Even though it is the best even though it is the best score of these 4 book series so far, the designs were a bit disappointing. But other than that, it was a great series. Nothing else really badly wrong with it. I agree with Lucas when I say that Vectrix and Stritor were easily the best, and Quark and Korvax were the second best. But if I was to give a ranking, I had to base it on the scores, and with it being the order 21, 23, 24, 26, the series got better as it went on. So I'm not going to give any explanation because I can't give a reason why I gave this one more score than the other, apart from the uniqueness of the abilities and the fight. So Quark is 4th, Korvax is 3rd, Vectrix is second, and Stritor is first. That's my very quick and very boring ranking of Series 19 Beasts. And I think with that brings an end to a Beast review. So, yes it is. So, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw or heard, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press that little notification bell down the corner below. Join me for the next Beast review, I don't know when that will be, which will have the Isle of Ghosts. And with that being said, I'll see you next time.